Hi everyone, it's Bob Pym here, and welcome to another session of study and audio-visual preservation, INF431. I hope you'll find thought-provoking and interesting, of course, obviously. Some of you will be quite experienced in the field, work in the field, and have lots of knowledge and background, and hopefully you'll be able to bring some of that to the forum discussions, which is great. For those of you who haven't got that sort of background, please don't be put off. Of course, the subject is written on the assumption that basically you don't come to it with any prior knowledge and experience, and so we expect you to be able to follow and to pick it up just as well. I would encourage you all to read the assignments in the subject outline, particularly the final assignment. Think about that, because as you go through the subject, the idea of the final assignment is it draws in stuff from the whole subject, all the modules, and obviously not everything. But bear that in mind when you're doing the modules, which are roughly on a weekly basis. So maybe one, sometimes two modules a week. And think about that final assignment. So you can make notes as you go along, identify relevant readings, that sort of thing, so that when it comes to doing the final assignment at the end, it is not such a challenging task. For me, I'm an adjunct senior lecturer at CSU. I've been there, or I was there, sorry, that means I'm retired now. I was there for about 10, 11 years, and before that I worked too at the National Film and Sound Archive for many years. Together, obviously I'm the subject coordinator and I'm very much involved with the subject, but we'll also be using tutors from the Film and Sound Archive, and in particular one, Mick Newnham, who's worked at the archive for a long time, has a wealth of experience and technical knowledge, and will bring a real lot to the interactions. And so I encourage you on the forums to ask questions, to participate if you're not sure what something means. There is a little bit of technical stuff in it, a little bit of chemistry and things like that, which don't worry too much about that if you find that a bit challenging, because realistically the idea is to give you a bit of background so that you can understand the principles rather than the actual detail. The focus is very much on traditional materials. There's another subject which looks at digital preservation, INF443, and obviously in this modern day and age, digital is the way to go, and in some ways can be more challenging than the physical media, because we don't have the time, the luxury of time, which to some degree we have with film and sound recordings, perhaps with tape less so. But in general terms, we don't have to worry about it, sort of 2 years after it's been created. With digital files, it's a bit different, isn't it? The digital file might still exist, but the software is hard to find, or a disk drive or something, CD drive, probably won't exist in 30 years' time, or they'll be difficult to find. So it's an interesting point to bear in mind as we go through. We touch on digital, obviously you can't avoid that in an AV preservation subject now, but as I say, the main emphasis on digital is in the other subject. So this is basically traditional materials. I hope you enjoy it and get something out of it. The assignments are designed to get you thinking widely and again, to be a little bit enjoyable. I understand they're assignments, but hopefully they're a bit of fun as well. One of them involves you recording a podcast. Now I'll talk about this a bit more in when you get into the subject. Okay, so please do enjoy the subject. The materials will be available just a few days before the start of semester, and I look forward to engaging with you then. I think there's going to be about 25 of us in the class, so that's really good. It's a good size. Provide a basis for some good discussions. Okay, all the very best with your studies. Cheers.